and welcome to another one of my videos. Now today I have a very special ration, and that ration is a genuine zombie ration. Now I've been looking for one of these for the last couple of years, and last night I was fortunate enough to find the guard of the facility fast asleep at his post. So I cut a little hole in the fence. Well, it was actually quite a large hole really, and I snuck in, fought my way past the inmates and managed to get hold of one of their rations. Now they wasn't very happy about it and they didn't want to let it go, but I managed to fight my way out. But boy, I nearly didn't make it, but here I am. And unfortunately I think one of the inmates has found the hole in the fence and followed me home. I can hear her clawing at the door, trying to get in. I think I'm going to need to deal with this. Excuse me while I just deal with this. Look, I told you, you're not having it back. I think that shut her up. So now I've got a little peace and quiet. Let's get this on. Let's get this on a table and see what this pack contains. Now I have here on the table these zombie virus infection ration. Now it looks like it's got quite a little bit of age to it. It's actually picked up one or two cobwebs along the way, so let's just clear those off. Now it looks like it's in a simple brown box. There is one or two little instructions. Consumption for the living dead only when no other body parts are available. Looks like there is a little bit of a morale booster on the back there, and of course we have the expiry date. And this particular one expired in 1729, so quite a bit of life left in this one. So let's get this open and see what it actually contains. Now there is a little flap at the side there to open this up, and straight away looks like the spiders have managed to get into the box as well, so we'll just move those out of the way for a moment. We don't need any of those. Now let's move the box to one side, and straight off the top we have an eye scoop socket. Very useful, very strong, very handy for getting those gloopy bits out the back of the eyeball. We have a jar of infected cerebellum mash. Very tasty looking. There is a tin of dead men's fingers in blood clot juice. Very nice looking tin there. We have some cranium flour crackers. There is some Z-virus infection salts. A little packet of blood splat wipes. There is a Z-virus spreading wipe, and of course the mains, we have some rehydrated intestinal contents. So very impressive looking ration. Now let's get these out on a tray and see what they look and taste like. As you can see, I now have everything laid out on the tray, and for this ration I thought if any of the packets need a little bit of help, I shall be using my zombie knife. Now this is a very useful knife for helping me sort out those zombies when they come a knocking. It is a very sharp double-edged knife. It has a very nice blood or water patterning on the blade, nice sturdy handle, and plenty strong enough for doing those chopping and slashing tasks. So let's just put that to one side for now. And I've opened the Dead Men's Fingers. Now it is in a tin. I can only assume that the actual zombies, they just use their teeth and rip it open. So let's start with the Dead Men's Fingers. Now this is Dead Men's Fingers in blood clot juice. It looks like there is a lot of blood clot juice in there. Hoping it won't spill out all over my tray, but we'll just give those a little tip. Wow, looks like there is 4 of the Dead Men's Fingers. Now they're looking pretty black. I mean, I assume that's a little bit of gangrene setting, but what can you expect? So there's 4 fingers and I can't see the thumb, so just Dead Men's Fingers. Just move that tin out of the way for a moment. Wipe my fingers. I think we'll open the infected cerebellum mash. Now it looks like it's some sort of brain pate, so nice hiss there. So looking, hopefully it's nice and fresh. Just move that to one side. I think the only drink I can see in this pack, I mean obviously the blood, so I'm assuming that you drink the blood, but they have included a packet of Z-virus infection salts. So I think for those I shall just bring in the knife and see if we can just open those. So that knife is a little bit big for a packet of infection salts, but perfect for beheading the zombie. So now there's a little simple powder. Has a strange smell, so we'll just mix those with a little water. But before we do, we're going to need to open the eye socket scoop. Very useful tool. So again, we'll just bring back the zombie knife just to help with the opening. So very nice, very strong, and obviously just the right shape for scooping out those eye sockets. I'll move that packet to one side, and we'll just use that scoop to mix the salts. We'll give it about half a glass of water. Let's put this spoon to one side, and I think we'll start with the C-virus infection salts. Oh, I can't say that's very pleasant. It's sort of slimy. It's it's slimy, it's salty, it tastes a little bit like pond or sewage water, and I'm not convinced if there isn't anything swimming about in there, some little microbes or something. I don't know if the camera's picking that up. I don't think it is, but I'm sure there's just some bacteria or something floating in there. Anyway, it's a drink. When you need a drink most, I'm sure it would be useful. Now, shall I have a look at these cranium flour crackers? Now, obviously made from a little bit of floured cranium there. So again, we'll just bring in the knife, just open those up, and there is 8 crackers there, but we should just get 4 out for now. And finally, we'll take a look at the rehydrated intestinal contents. And some instructions: eat raw and decayed. So obviously don't need any heating. We'll just get these open. Now there is a nice looking set of intestinal contents there, so we'll just ooze those out. Looks like they're nicely decayed. They've actually been out of the body for quite some time. So, where shall we start? I think just move those intestinal contents around a little bit. Looks like the last person was eating. There's a little bit of blood clot there. I think there's a little bit of maybe poo. Poo? I don't know. Some sweet corn. Okay, I think I'll come back to that in a minute. Just give me spoon a little wipe there. I think what we'll do, I think I'm going to start with the infected cerebellum mash. Now, all I've got is the handle of the eye socket scoop to mix this around. It looks like there's a little bit of separation going on there, a little bit of difference in colour. Nice creamy paste. We'll just borrow one of these cranium flour crackers just to give it a little background. So, spreads nicely. Smells a little bit of like a pork type fat. Oh, those cranium crackers are hard. They have a bony sort of texture. Quite hard, quite crunchy. A very calcium-fied sort of background taste. The cranium paste, very difficult to describe. It's mushy, it's soggy, it's obviously a brain pate, and I don't know if any of you have ever eaten brains, but it has that very distinctive brain pate smell and flavour. If you can hear those crackers, very crunchy, very cranium plate textured. Just clean the little bit of brain off the end of the spoon there. Now, I don't know if you can hear that. There's a little bit of a disturbance going on. Sounds to me like they've probably just discovered the hole in the fence that I made when I acquired this ration. I hope too many of the inmates haven't got out. Anyway, back to the ration. So, I think it's time we take a look at these dead men's fingers. So, there is 4, so it is all 4 of the fingers, no thumbs. It looks like they have taken off the decayed nail bed. Now the blood clot juice is very thick. It smells a little bit decayed. Try a little bit of the finger there. Oh, very distinctive gangrene taste in the background. You can sort of smell it. I actually think, looking at these, they still contain the veins. So I think that might be, I don't know if you can see that there, I think that might be one of the tendons or veins of the finger. Very soft, very squidgy, a very strong decomposition flavour. I think that must be a bit of gangrene there, certainly a bit of the bone, 1 or 2 tendons out of the finger, but mixed with the blood clot juice, it gives it a salty, meaty blood clot sort of background hint. Not unpleasant, just something that's very different. I think I'm actually developing a liking for those. The more I eat, the more I'm starting to actually I don't know whether it's these infection salts, but my taste buds are certainly starting to improve. That just suddenly feels a whole lot tastier. Let's have another taste of those. Now let's move on to the rehydrated intestinal contents. Now I can see some intestinal clots there. That looks like it might be a little bit of a blood clot. I can see the standard sweet corn. There is I think that might be a little bit of poo, but yeah, I think that might be actually. So anyway, let's see how that tastes. What a strange combination. There is a taste of like vomit, with a little background hint of poo, and a very obvious blood clot sort of hint. It does feel partly digested in your mouth. Doesn't feel like it needs the required amount of chewing that you do when you put fresh food in. So there's a nice piece of poo there and a little bit of intestinal clot. Let's have a try of that. I think we'll try that with a little piece of the dead man's fingers. I think that blood clot juice might just help that along a little. It's bleeding. It's bleeding into my hands. That's funny though. The more of this I eat, the less I'm bleeding. I got this trying to get it off them. They didn't want to give it up, so I sort of persuaded them. Very nice. Very enjoyable. I'm going to just have another taste of this virus infection salt. Very tasty. Very enjoyable. Nice, refreshing drink. Now, I think the only thing left to have a look at is the Z-Virus spreading wipes. Now, I don't know if you can hear, it sounds like something's really kicking off outside. I hope it's nothing to do with me leaving that hole in the fence. So, nice, wet, soggy, very, very infected. You can smell the infection. It's got that pus infection smell. Very wet, very infectious, spreading. In fact, I think if we just spread it about a bit, you can see there's a little bit of the frothiness there, a bit of the infection virus. Very nice, very useful infection swab. So, I think it's time for a bit of a recap. Now, the Z-Virus infection salts started off tasting a little bit funny, but the more you drank, all of a sudden you suddenly started to actually enjoy the drink. I was convinced you could see something floating around in there initially, but I must have swallowed that. That must have gone. It's not there now. But strangely enough, the more you drink, the more it becomes, you become accustomed. Now, the infected cerebellum mash, very tasty, very creamy, most enjoyable. It has that brain flavour that you associate with a cerebellum mash. I think I even picked a little piece of hair up there. I think there might be an odd bit of hair still in that. Very nice, very tasty, very creamy. I think I might start looking out for some more of that. Very enjoyable. Just wipe my spoon with the infection spreading white. The dead man's fingers. There were 4. I've already eaten 1. Still stringy. Still containing what I can only assume is the tendons, nerves and flesh. Decomposing flesh. Taste of gangrene in the background. Very enjoyable, very pleasant. Side dish. The rehydrated intestinal contents. Plenty, absolutely plenty of intestinal clots there. I don't know if you can see that. There is the sweet corn from the previous person's lunch, and even the lumps of poo are starting to smell quite delicious actually. So again, mix it with the blood clot. Very enjoyable, very tasty, rehydrated intestinal contents. Cranium flour crackers. They're hard, obviously made out of cranium flour. They snap like bone. Crunch in the mouth like a piece of cranium plate. Very nice, very tasty, very welcome addition to the blood clot juice. I don't think I need the blood splat wipes quite at the moment. My own blood seems to be going quite dry. I seem to have stopped bleeding. In actual fact, that's looking quite odd. So anyway, I think I'll have to go and see a doctor about that later. Now, I think I'm going to leave it there. I need to look out of the door and see what's going on outside. It sounds now like there's riots happening. Don't know what's going on out there. So I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe and hit that notification button for future videos coming very soon. Now watch out for the private message at the end of this video. So thank you and goodbye. Well, wasn't that an interesting ration? Mind you, I'm not so sure that was meant for human consumption. I'm feeling pretty sick. Hold on, I think I'm going to be